And my area of interest overall has been the PCB design, the a little bit into electronics, but my main area has actually been machines. When you will come in second year, then we most probably I will be also there at your services to teach you the machines over there. Machines, you all know, the next big boom or the next big fantasy for whole of the world for the next 10 years is going to be electric cars, and those electric cars are going to be run by certainly some motors. So these motors are going to be the next 10, 20 years of the industry, and all the industry is going to shift, especially the gasoline industry. Or well, anyway, that's the other thing. Apart, coming back to this lab, as the name suggests for this lab, the lab is electrical and electronics workshop. The point of calling it a workshop is this, that in this lab we are going to give you the skills that are required to make any of the projects throughout this whole engineering. Now, the reason of getting this lab in second semester, maybe it can also be coming in the first semester also, but yes, I have made it in the second semester. The reason behind it is this, that so that you can understand how to actually assemble a circuit, how to make it on a Vero board and all that stuff, and then you can actually make it into the PCB also. Now, since this time, these are COVID times again, and the ODL is the way of the town at present. So this is online distance learning. So I have reversed the whole scheme that we have done in the previous last 3 years. Sir Bilal is with me. He is my assisting me. Yes, beta, it's on. The recording is switched on. Don't worry on this part. I have switched it on. Just pray that there is no glitch on my laptop and the recording goes on smooth. So I have everything for you, and I will available it on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is youtube/Arslan-e-Rahim. You can go there. I'm not asking for subscription or whatever, but if you want to subscribe it over there, well and good, no issues. But as far as this, coming back to this lab over here, Bilal, I guess I don't know, I have made you the owner over here or not. These are some roll numbers. Please don't write down your roll numbers in the conversation window. I don't know if there is any issue with your joining or any of your friends joining. Bilal, I have made you the, I guess the, what I mean to say, I've made you the, let me just actually, okay, I've added you as the owner. Bilal, just confirm me out. You are there now as the owner of this also. I guess now you are there. Okay, please mute yourself, students. There is no need of opening your mic. Please, roll number 185, mute yourself. Okay, coming on to this lab, I guess Sir Bilal has also shared. Bilal, please share in the conversation window the documents, the course outline that was the last year also, and it will be also done this time. Please share it over here uh, in the conversation window. Acha ji, coming on to this lab again, before I start the document and talk about that document, how this lab is going to go at the end of this session today, I'm going to tell you the safety instructions also. But yes, safety instructions are not going to be applicable unless and until you come there in the lab and all that stuff happens over there. Uh, but overall, this lab you are going to do a little bit hard work or from hand. So my question over here for is this, that whenever you are going to do this lab, do it from this purpose, that whatever skills you are going to learn from here, those skills are going to be used in the next 4 years. This is very, very important for you. Just wait for me. Just wait. आप पीछे कर दो, टैब दे दें. ये मीरू नीचे क्यों आई है? Okay, sorry for the interruption actually. Uh, Bilal, have you shared the PDF file? Please, Bilal, share the PDF file if you have it, or let me just share it from. Um, mm, Let me just share it. This is session 2020 and the course outline. The course outline is there. The electrical and electronics workshop is there. I hope everyone can see this laboratory plan, the CLOs and all that stuff over here. Uh, Overall, the hierarchy of the lab or the grading of the lab and all that stuff is going to be in such a way that there are going to be lab rubrics being followed, which are actually going to be 25%. And then we are going to have some Vero board projects, which are going to be 20%. And then we have something as PCB projects. They would be in the let me just share it. And then there will going to be PCB projects which are going to be 25%, and then certainly a lab project which is going to be 30%. Today I'm not going to talk about anything. Today I'm going to give you a brief overview about all of these things and the change which is going to be done because of this ODL. Since we are not on campus and you can't have those toolboxes and all that stuff and you are at homes, so practically we can't do that Vero board project or that PCB project. But what we can do before that is this: we can give you an idea that how actually a project is perceived first, the circuit diagram, how you are going to actually make it on a printed circuit board, or first of all you are going to make it on a Vero board or all that stuff, and then afterwards maybe in the next lecture we are going to talk about how to design a PCB on a software which is going to be Altium. Altium is going to be is an industry leading software, and I'm going to use that one for the PCB designing over here. And since supposingly if this carries on, this ODL classes carries on up till your midterm, so up till that time we would have designed 4 to 5 different PCBs. And meanwhile, if we have some time, I will also ask you to get those PCBs done and then afterwards manufactured from some third party owner. And then certainly you can then, when you are going to come back to the department, and then we can start off from the Vero board projects, and then I can show you how to actually solder it. Now soldering is actually an art, and every one of you will have to do a soldering little bit or larger in quantity as the time progresses. So soldering is very important thing over here, and how you are going to do it, how the aesthetics of your software, the PCB or the Vero board, it's very important over there. And then certainly at the end of this we are going to have a lab project, and most of you must have heard a lot about from the 2019 session. Last time we had those on-campus sessions, we had 3 or 4 weeks, and then afterwards instantly there was that ODL classes coming up, and then we shifted on towards the Vero from the PCB. And we did that because it's a software. At the end of today's lecture we are going to give you the download link for that software also. It's 2.4 GB, but the link is stable, you can download it from there. If anyone has any issues and you want to download it from the, maybe you can come to department and you can, I will make that available also in the makers lab, which is actually the make place for the electrical and electronics workshop. As far as the CLO is concerned, as you can see the CLOs over here, the CLOs are going to be the first CLO, as you can see, it's the demonstrate the basic tools needed for electrical and electronics workshop. It's a psychomotor. I will just show you the tools also today. I have brought the toolbox with me from the department. I was actually late because of this. I actually went to department to get those tools and all that stuff, and the Vero board stuff also. The second CLO is on the Vero board based circuit. I will show you some Vero board circuits also today. And then the third CLO is on the printed circuit boards. Now printed circuit boards are going to be one layer. First of all, we will go with a very small circuits from the one single layer, and then we will go on towards two layer. And then we will also have one lecture at the very end of this course, or maybe before the midterm if the lab goes on the online scheme. Then we will also go towards multi-layer. Now what is a printed circuit board, or what is a PCB? I hope when you are coming in electrical engineering you have an idea what I mean by printed circuit board. And the last CLO that is actually demonstrate the working of different electrical actuators, transducers and wiring schemes. As far as the actuators and transducers are concerned, I will show you some relays, 5-volt relays, 12-volt relays, and then I will talk about some transducers or sensors, such as some temperature sensors, such as some voltage sensors or current sensors, and how to make their footprints in PCB, so that you can actually make a project. Most probably in your future, when you are going to go towards your lab, when you are going to go towards your, supposingly you are going to go in some second year or third year, you are going to have some lab. So you are going to build some, supposingly you have to make a temperature meter. So when you are going to make a temperature meter, that temperature meter is actually going to be based on some sensor. So that sensor is going to be either placed on the printed circuit board, or maybe it's a current sensor, maybe it's a voltage sensor, maybe it's a humidity sensor. So we will talk about a limited number of sensors, not all of them because they can be an abundant quantity, but we will talk about them in detail over here. So we have all of these sensors talked about, and then at the end we will talk about wiring schemes as well. Now this talking should not be just limited to the online stuff and all that, but we will try that we go on towards the on campus and we can do the single wire schemes or the neutral and the live wire schemes. And then we will talk about the uh, two-way stair. If you have remember, most of you must have those lights or two-way switches at your stairs, so that when you are going up to the stairs you can on the light, and when you reach on the top of the stairs you can again turn it off. It's two-way switch. Most of you must have done this in the first year, first semester lab as well. I don't know that lab has been done physically or not on campus, but actually that's also a part of that workshop lab, I guess. Even if you have not done it, that's no issue. We will do that one over here again as a part of this lab. Now as you can see, the lab has been designed in such a way previously that we are going to do some circuits in the Vero board, and then we are going to do some circuits in the same circuits in PCB. Now we can't do that Vero board circuits, we can't do that physical hardware work at present. So we are going to shift the whole scheme, and if I show you the whole scheme over here, this is the lab plan which is normally followed for any of the sessions which I've done this lab previously. So if you can see over here, these are the first one. The first lecture is going on to the safety instructions and the basic tools and equipments over there. Then I have the Vero board for a simple single digit 7-segment display with soldering. So all this stuff is going to be done in the lab. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go towards the first of all thing in next lecture hopefully, because LTM software has to be installed. I will be going on towards, because this is ODL, Introduction to PCB Design Tool, LTM and design of a single layer PCB. So after today's lecture, when you have downloaded, everyone should have downloaded this LTM software. It's not that heavy software, but you still require 4 GB of space and at least 3 to 4 GB of RAM in your computer. So you can install this. The install procedure file is going to be also given by Sir Bilal. I will just share it in the conversation window and also in the class materials also. For those of you who are just coming up now, or they are joining this session now, the links have been provided over here, so you can go through those links yourself also. So our lab is actually going to be, first of all, we are going to design every software or every circuit, sorry, in LTM, and then we are going to move on towards their physical implementation when we move on towards campus. So just pray and mark my words, if somehow this corona pandemic and all this stuff that does not subside, and you have over here no options, then certainly you will have a problem for the future labs. So this lab is a must for everyone. And as far as those people who are concerned from any of your seniors that this lab is very difficult and how you are going to get some grades, this lab, please understand and mark my words from over here, you are going to learn a lot. And I'm not here to mark you for your grades, but there are two things which are very, very important for this lab. First of all, you have to do every work. Every work assigned has to be done. You do it poorly or you do it very good in shape, that's totally up to your ability. And secondly, which is very, very important, no cheating. Okay, if something has been assigned to you, you will have to do it yourself. No cheating, nothing to be copied from over here, because I have a very stringent rule on this one. If I see anyone doing it, I will straight away give an F grade. This is very, very stringent rule on this one over here. So please mark these two words: be present, do all the work which has been assigned to you. And for those who want to take an idea from here, you can go on this web page. This is the ep.ng.com.pk. Since I teach a lot amount of graduate courses also, and you can see over here design of electrical electronics workshop session 2019. It's there, and sorry, okay, and you can see the course outlines, the lab safety rules. I will make a page for session 2020 also. Don't worry on this one, most probably by day or tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I will make this available. So you can see all the equipments, experiments and all that one are available. And you can see on this web page, for example, some XYZ student, roll number 45, I have written it copied, again copied, copied, copied. And what does a copy mean? Straight away 0. And if in any assignment or any work, if I see anyone copied, and if it is 2 times copied, then that's an F grade for the whole lab. So I have just 2 rules for this lab which are very important. Just do what has been asked to do, no absence. Secondly, no cheating. I know everyone can't design a very good PCB. Maybe some of you will be designing very good, some of you will be designing mediocre, some of you will be designing a little bit poorly, but that does not mean that I am going to give you an F grade. But if you do any of these 2 things which I have passed, then you will be certainly having an F grade. Anyway, coming back to the lab over here, as I've discussed this course outline just in front of you now, and the experiments are also here in front of you. I'm going to change a little bit of the experiments. Hopefully an updated file will be available by evening from Sir Bilal on Sir Bilal's website also, but more or less this is going to be the same thing. Now coming on to apart from this lab and what we are going to do in this lab, first of all, I want some words from the CR, especially you can open your mic. I want to know how the circuit analysis lab was done in the previous semester. If it was totally done online or it was done on campus, I need a little bit answer. You can unmute yourself, the CRs only. Because I don't have any idea. Actually, I had a small talk with your teacher, Sir Anik, today. I guess he was your CAD teacher, circuit analysis teacher for the lab, but I don't know this was done online totally or it was done without any on-campus experiments. Because if you have not done any on-campus experiments and you are just first year, so you even don't have any idea what is a breadboard and how a breadboard is used or what is a Vero board. I will just show you everything today. I have the camera set up over here. I will just share the screen over here also with you. Bilal, which are the CRs? Please, CRs, you can unmute yourself and you can speak on. I want to know how the lab of circuit analysis was done. Ji beta.
Sir, to a negligible amount. I mean, we haven't done much. Like, I would say not at all.
How many experiments were done on campus?
We did not have a specific circuit analysis course in the first semester. So maybe a single basic electricity experiment in the mechanics course
Okay.
and only maybe like one workshop session, and that also half of the boys of the class. So
Matlab, everyone was not physically present in the lab.
sir, the courses were changed. Initially, we had an electronics workshop, just one lesson, and then the courses were changed. So
Okay.
I would say to a very negligible amount.
Okay. So you people don't have any idea about what is a breadboard, what is a Vero board?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay. 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 No issues. If anyone has any questions apart from the CRs, no one is allowed to unmute yourself. Roll number 108. If you have anything, just write down in the conversation window. I can see your hand raised. So you can write down in the conversation window if you have anything. Use the conversation window for any questions to be asked by some journal student. Anyway, don't worry. I will just show you the. Actually, now let me just share it. I will show you first of all the toolbox and all that stuff over here. I hope the screen is being shared. Everyone can see this very clearly. Bilal, just confirm me out also. I've taken this one over here. You can see this is a small toolbox. I hope everyone can have a look on this one. This is a very small toolbox over here, as you can see. And this toolbox, when you will come in the department, hopefully, and this ODL classes go on towards the campus. So we are going to give you this toolbox, and we are going to make or ask you to make groups, 2 students per each group, and certainly from the same section, because when you are going to come on the campus, those classes are going to be section wise. At present you are all combined in one class because the uh, data is the same. So this toolbox will be given 2 students per each one. So this will be given as one toolbox to each, and this toolbox, if I open this in front of you, I hope everyone can have a look. Actually, this is the central console. So when you are going to have it, let me just open it. Okay. Sorry. Okay, sorry about this one. Okay, so as you can see, everyone, I hope everyone can have a look at this. You can see a lot of tools inside this one. I will give you, I will tell you what does each mean and how each one is going to be used. Many of you must have used it, because I hope so. Since you have come in electrical engineering, you must have the intuition to work as an electrician or something a little bit, to show your parents or your home people that you have some interest in your. Now this is the main tool over here which I am holding in my hand at present. This is the soldering iron, as you can see over here, and this is the main tip over here which I am going to plug it in, and certainly it's going to be hot, and I hope every one of you must have seen it or a little bit somewhere else. And one thing very important, when this is going to be plugged in over here, you are actually going to use this and holding it like this. Please do not touch it on this one. This is not going to be touching this point because this is going to be hot. This is that soldering iron. So each toolbox which will be given to you is going to have this soldering iron over there. So this is actually a soldering iron which will be given to you in a toolbox. Even one thing very important, I'm still thinking on this one, that if we can have maybe even if you are at homes, and maybe somehow we can give you the toolboxes and you can come at university and take those toolboxes at some convenient time, so that even you can do it at your homes. But anyway, this is still in the paper at present. I'm not done. I've decided anything on this one. I'm just waiting for the university instructions or maybe the government instructions that this is going to go on towards the for maybe how much time, maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or even for the whole semester. But anyway, I will try my utmost best that your learning does not get any sorry about this. Actually, I'm using my mobile camera actually over here, so that's why it actually turns off. This is a small cutter. I hope everyone can see this. This is a small cutter in my hand, and this is actually a wire stripper. You can see I'm using this as a wire stripper, so you can see I can have any wire over here and I can cut this any wire. So this is a wire stripper in this toolbox. So you can see this is being provided over here. So whatever wires you want to cut after soldering, or maybe you want to strip any wire, this is a very good tool, and this is called as a wire stripper. Okay, or you can call it as a cutter also, but normally the word used is this over here. As you can see, the shape over here sorry, this is a nose plier. As you can see, the shape is nose structure, and this is a plier. It has a small spring over here, as you can see over here. So this is a nose plier. Okay, this is a nose plier, and sometimes when you are going to actually strip a wire, you will have to hold it. So when this is actually just like a plas, so this is called as a nose plier. Next thing, very important one, this is a paper cutter. As you can see over here, I hope everyone can have a look at this one. This is a paper cutter, as you have normally used it. Normally this paper cutter will be used whenever you want to actually cut anything on your PCB sheet, or maybe sometimes the wire has to be cut very bluntly, then you can use this. So this paper cutter is also a part of this toolbox. Most of you must have used this previously also. Then there is a screwdriver over here. Sometimes you are going to use this screwdriver. This is a two-phase screwdriver. As you can see, it has only two phase. Sometimes it's going to be star shaped also. So this is a two-phase screwdriver, as you can see, and this is also going to be a part of your toolbox. So, and then there is going to be, sorry about it, and then there is going to be this another screwdriver, but this time you can see the shape of this screwdriver is four angled screwdriver over here. So this is also again a screwdriver over there. Sometimes the screw which you want to actually loose or tight, it's going to be 4 or star shape. Next thing, very important one, is this stand over here. I'm just attaching this stand at present. Let me just stand it over there. Actually I can't find the end one. Actually you can do it yourself. This is actually a stand, and in this stand you are going to place this over here. You're just going to screw it over here, and then you are going to use these nuts over here, so that this soldering stand is going to be used over here to keep that soldering iron over here. One thing very important, when you are going to place this soldering iron, this one over here, please do not place it on any table. Please always place it inside. This is very important. Please place it always inside, so that it does not touch, because if you are going to place it maybe over on this plastic box or anywhere, this plastic box or any wooden table will get burnt. And also one thing very important, since I'm talking about this one, this tip over here is very important, and this tip should not be touched by any abrasive material. This is very important. This tip, when it is hot, certainly don't play with this one with your fingers on this one. It will be red hot. In next lecture I will show you also how you are going to use this one and all that stuff, but since I am not going to go towards the hardware before, so maybe we will shift on towards the PCB stuff and all that stuff over here. So this is the soldering tip, and never ever use this for any abrasive one. Whenever you want to clean it, there is a small pad given in this one. Use this pad when it is wet. Okay, this is just like a cleaning pad, and when this will be wet, it will be quite thick. As you can see, this is very thin at present, but when you are going to make it wet, it's going to have a foam like structure. And whenever this is hot, whenever the soldering iron is hot, just make this one clean on this one. What this will happen, this black color oxides which are on this tip, they will be cleaned from the surface, but do not touch it when it is dry. This should be in wet condition, so that it can actually clean it. Otherwise, if it is dry, then it will actually burn this foam over here. So this is the cleaning pad over here for the soldering iron, and this is the soldering iron over here with me. Then the next few things, as you can see over here, I have this as the soldering sucker. This is actually a very important thing. As you can see over here, it has a small button over here, and as soon as I will press this, what if this happens, it has a small suction over here. So when this is going to be pressed over here from the top, and you are going to place it anywhere over here like this, it's going to suck that solder wire, which is actually going to be in the melted position. We will show this when we will do practically. This is actually called as a soldering sucker over here. Then the second last thing over here, this is actually a paste. As you can see, this is called as a soldering paste, and this paste is sometimes used on your circuitry. You can see this is a little bit used over here. So you whenever you want to clean your bit, you can just put a little bit when it is hot on this one, and then you can rub it on the soldering pad, or sorry, the cleaning pad, and then this can be. Plus this paste can also be used on the plus this paste can also be used on any circuit, so that this actually works as a catalyst to lower the temperature of melting, so that it can actually work as a cleaning compound as well. So this is a soldering paste also available in this toolbox. And then the last but not the least, very important one, the breadboard. As you can see, the breadboard over here, anyone from the class who has an idea what is a breadboard and how it is used? G, anyone? CRs or anyone? Please. Anyone from the class who has an idea how a breadboard is used? I am showing you the breadboard at present.
Yes, sir. Sir, the breadboard.
Ji beta, and any idea?
This board, sir. Yes, sir.
You can see this.
We can use it to make, we can use it to make circuits. We can put resistors, transistors,
Okay.
diodes, as well as LEDs.
And can you tell me how this these connections are there on this top? I hope every over here.
Yes, sir. I think these are all connected in parallel.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I guess. How many of you have an idea? CR, can you tell me, give an idea? How many of you have an idea about this breadboard? Maybe like 40-50% of students, or G, CR. CR, please, I guess, be on your foot whenever I'm actually calling you, because I need to know.
So hardly a few.
Okay,
I mean, a handful of people might have an idea.
Okay, so I will just go in a little bit deep how this breadboard is going to be used. Anyway, if anyone has any questions, you can ask me in my MS Teams message. I will share my email address also, but since everything is going to be done through MS Teams, so certainly this is going to be very easy for me to answer on MS Teams. Okay, now you can see a very big breadboard over here. Gigi, please.
Sir, I just want to make clear, maybe I have been abrupt before. We haven't done any course related to electrical engineering in the first semester.
Yes, I just came to know now, because I was available in that meeting also. Electrical department has done this. You have not done anything related to circuits up till now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That's
so
why. People hardly know it.
I know. Now I got it. Actually, the course outline has been changed from session 2020. Previously, session 2019, they were actually having that circuit analysis, I guess, in the first semester, or maybe at 2018 were having like this. So there has been a change. Yes, I know that. Anyway, coming on to this one, as you can see over here, this is the breadboard, and it has some holes on it. These holes are actually going to be used to place any IC, headers, or something. Now what I'm placing at present, if you can see over here, let me just pick it up again. I will just place it. This is a male header, as you can see, everyone. I will share the picture just now afterwards as well, each and every picture. So don't worry, this lecture is also being recorded, so hopefully I am not going to get in any issue. Yes, this is being recorded at present, so no issues. Okay, you can see over here, this is a male header, and when I'm going to place this male header over here inside this one, this is going to be pushed inside this hole over here like this. So what does this mean? How I'm going to use these holes? Now listen to this very carefully. These holes over here in parallel like this, from here to here, everything which is in series like this, they are connected, which means that if I put something in here and afterwards if I put another wire in here, they both will be connected together. So what this means, in this area over here, this area over here, everything is connected like this. So what this means, let me just wait. I'm just getting an IC from my. Let me just get one IC. Okay, 1174. Okay, I have an IC in my hand and I'm going to place this IC over here. I hope everyone can see what I'm doing. I have placed this IC over here. Let me just zoom it a little also. Okay, now if you can see this one, I have placed an IC, no matter what that IC does or whatever. This IC is in dual inline packaging DIP over here. And how you are going to number this IC, it's also a chance. I will tell you how you are going to number it. But if you see closely this IC, let me just show you a little bit again. If I can just zoom it over there. Okay. Now, if you can see over here, there is a small notch over here. This notch over here. Now this notch over here, and on this side, this is pin number 1, then this is pin number 2, then this is pin number 3, pin number 4, pin number 5, pin number 6, pin number 7, pin number 8. So from pin number 1 to pin number 8. Now since I am holding this one towards me and since you are doing it on the camera, so that's why you can see it in a little different way. But if I make it over here like this, I hope everyone can now understand. This is the notch here in front of you, and when you are facing towards it, this is pin number 1, pin number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you go on the top, this is pin number 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now this package or this IC which you have used over here, this is called as DIP, which is called as dual inline packaging. I'm again repeating, this is called as dual inline packaging, DIP packaging. Now, when you have placed this IC on the breadboard, you want to now, supposing you want to give some VCC or ground signal, which means a plus 5 volt and a ground signal to this IC so that this IC can work. So what you are going to do from your data sheet, you are going to give supposedly this pin. This is pin number 16 pin which I am touching at present. This is pin number 16. So on pin number 16 I am going to give 5 volts, and on pin number 8, which is this pin, I am just going to touch it from here. So this is pin number 8. I am going to give ground at this one. So I want to give pin number 16 5 volts and I want to give pin number 8 ground. So now I will put a wire. Okay, sorry, actually this has a time limit on this one, so this has to be okay, I hope. Now, so I'm going to give a signal over here at 5 volts and I'm going to give a ground over here. So I'm going to take a wire here and I'm going to place that wire. Let me just put that wire over here to show you. So what I'm going to do over here, I'm going to place this wire over here like this, and I'm going to connect this wire over here with this one, as you can see. So what I have done, this connection over here with this VCC IC pin, this is also present over here, this is also present over here, this is also present over here, this is also present. So what I have done, I have taken a wire, a jumper wire, and I've placed this from here to here. So this is the first VCC connection I have done. So what this means, that when I have placed an IC, this pin is now connected with this hole, this hole, this hole, this hole, all of them. Similarly, if I want to connect after my circuit is connected, I want to push with this pin any wire. So what I will do, I will use any of these holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have this 4 holes, practically they are 5, but fifth one I am using for this IC. So I have this 4 holes from which I can connect jumper wires and use it. So this area over here, which you are seeing over here, this area in which this IC is placed, this is that components area. But if you see these vertical lines over here, this one and where I have connected this 5 volts, this one, if I just maybe let zoom out a little, let me. key. Okay, so if you can see now, this vertical lines from here till here, and from this vertical lines till here, they are vertically connected, which means from this pin, from this hole till this hole, they all are connected together. And then from this pin or this hole till this hole, they are connected. So in practical, there are two vertical lines here, two vertical lines here, and then on the other side they have two vertical lines here from here. So there are approximately 8 vertical lines over here, which you can use here for your plus 5 volts or ground. Now this is just an introduction of the breadboard and how you are going to use it. When I will practically do it in front of you and I will show you how a 7 segment is going to work over here, then don't worry, I will show it on camera. I'm just showing over here at a present idea, so you have an idea what is a breadboard and what purpose it is used. In simple words, a breadboard is a device where you can patch a circuit and you can get an output without even having a design made or something like that. You can just put some jumper wires, but only possible are those ICs or those components which have DIP. What is DIP? DIP is dual inline packaging, DIP over there. So these are going to be used for any experiment. Now our lab that we are going to do it over here, they are going to be used in such a way that we are going to use some very simple equipments over here which are required for our lab. For example, let me go on the again our website, which is going to be, I'm taking the equipments to buy. We normally ask the students to buy, but I'm not asking you to buy at present. The reason behind it is that since you are not going still on the hardware side, but afterwards certainly I will tell you. This pin page over here gives you the idea that for each experiment what equipment you have to buy. Now since I have to tell you that what is the equipment, how it is physical over there, so I'm going to show you a Vero board. Now what is a Vero board? I will just click on this one. I have good size images of the Vero board. I hope everyone can see this one over here. This is a Vero board and you can see a physical picture of how a breadboard looks like. So over here you can see this breadboard. This breadboard shape is exactly the same just like this Vero board. You can see the only difference is it that these two center lines, they are connected together. So you can see this vertical lines. Now in front of you, when you are going to place the breadboard, you can call them as horizontal lines and you can call this one as vertical lines, but it is totally up to you how you actually place that breadboard. But overall, a breadboard is actually a physical thing where you can actually place your ICs, your jumper wires, and you can get an idea of your circuit, how it is performing. But only applicable for DIP packages, which is dual inline packaging. And DIP packaging means that they are spaced. Now one thing very important, DIP packaging, the pins are spaced 2.54 mm. This is very important. Please remember this value, that DIP packaging spacing is I'm just writing it down in the DIP packaging spacing between pins is 2.54 mm. This is standard throughout any IC which is going to be having DIP packaging. Okay, coming on to again this one. This is a Vero board. Now sometimes you have done something on the Vero board and you want to now do that one on the, you just want to place that circuit and you have no much time to design a PCB and all that stuff. So this Vero board comes in handy. Now you can see in this Vero board, the pins are copper. The holes are there. The sheet is having a copper over there. So this means you can do soldering. Please remember, soldering is always done on the copper side. Okay? The same Vero board on the other side is just going to be looking like a breadboard with some holes over there, just like the breadboard as I've shown you. So this Vero board is just like a device on which you are just going to take the items from your breadboard, place them on the Vero board in the same way you have done on the breadboard, and solder it from the other side, and your circuit is ready to be placed anywhere. You don't need to design a PCB. So sometimes you are working on a circuit and by maybe like 2 hours or 3 hours, you want that circuit to be running and you want to place that circuit and you are not constrained by some size measurements or something. So you are just going to do that one in this way. So Vero board comes in handy over there. Next thing is actually a Vero board which is large. We will come that one in the later stage. I'm not going to discuss that one over here. The next thing is a 7 segment. As you can see over here, I hope this is being recorded. Let me just confirm this one. Yes, exactly, this is being recorded. So this is a 7 segment. I hope everyone has seen this. Some digital clocks, maybe some of your equipments. These were the display panels even on an Apollo 11 mission to moon when it was done by NASA. So it was all 7 segment displays on their counters or maybe something like this at that time. Now what is the 7 segment display? The 7 segment display are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 1 dot. So that's why 7 segments are there, 1 plus 1 dot. We don't take that dot into consideration much, but they are 7 segments and each segment is made up of one LED. And now you all know what does a one LED do. One LED actually does have a 0.7 volt drop and it has a current flowing through it. So it gives some light out. It's an LED, light emitting diode. So it's going to bright itself. So you can see from this 7 segment that you have 0 written. So you will illuminate this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. But the center one you are not going to illuminate. This will be 0. You want to illuminate 1. You will just have this one and this one illuminated. This will be 1 over there. Similarly, you can have 2 illuminated over there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So this is a 7 segment display. Now these are very small shape, and physically I will just show you as well. Actually I'm in my lab at present at my home, so I can show each and every equipment over here. Let me just show a 7 segment on camera also. This is my okay, so I'm placing a 7 segment now on the breadboard. I hope everyone can have a look. You can see this is a breadboard and I am placing this one over here, and this is going to be placed over here like this. You can see now I have placed this 7 segment, and if I want to place another one, supposedly over here, I will going to be placed another one over here. This is going to be, so you can see now in this way you can have many 7 segments in series and you can display any data. Supposedly you want to display the clock, you want to display some voltage or something, so you are going to have some circuit driving this one. I'm not going to discuss that circuit today. I'm going to do that one in the next lecture. So this will be our talk of the town in the next one. I'm going to talk about the 7 segment display. I will show you on camera with the breadboard also. So this is a 7 segment over here. Next thing coming on, it's going to be a transistor. Now the first transistor which you are going to use in this one is going to be a 2N3904. Now I'm not going to go towards the data sheet, how you are going to read the data sheet and all that stuff, but you can see the shape of your transistor. This transistor, again, the legs are having a spacing that can be having 2.54. In fact, it's a little less, but you can stretch those legs and you can place them very easily on the breadboard over there. I can show that transistor as well. Let me just have that transistor over here. Okay, this is that transistor. Okay, and I'm going to place this transistor on the, you can see I have placed this transistor now on this. Let me just move on towards the camera. Okay, so you can see I have placed this transistor over here. So this is that, you can see 3 items are placed over here. You can see the transistors, the IC, and over here. So there are some transistors, and I hope so I don't need to repeat that what is the difference between an NPN and a PNP transistor, but again I will discuss it in the next class with the circuit diagram in front of you, that which transistors you are going to use and what PCB you are going to design and all that stuff. Next thing after this 2N3904, I'm not going to go towards this dot matrix and the other transistor at present. We will talk about when a time comes. The next thing is the male header. This is very important over here. This is the male header, as you can see over here, and this is the same thing which I have done previously. I've shown you this is the same male header over here, and you can see what is the advantage of this male header. I can place it on this one in any of the holes, or I can have it placed on any PCB, so that you can connect some female wires or something like that to your external circuitry. So these are male headers. As the time comes, I will show you how this is going to be connected and all that. But as far as on the breadboard are concerned, these male headers are not that much used unless and until you have those wires which are going to be used over there. So these are some male headers over here. Okay, I'm just placing every equipment over here so that on the camera you can actually see what I'm actually showing. Now, since we are talking about male headers, they can be also female headers also. Female headers over here, as you can see, and I'm going to place a female header. I don't have that good quality image at present with me, but anyway, this is the female header which I am placing over here. You can see this female header just goes inside that holes over here, and it has holes over here. So I can now put any wire. So I can now put any wire over here. Let me just zoom it, and you can place any wire inside this one. These holes, these are female headers over here. So this means that you can place any. So all the items which I'm showing you at present, they are now on your camera view over here. Now coming on to, this is a female header, and sometimes you have those male headers over there. LEDs, I hope so I don't need to show this LED over here, but anyway, those of you who actually want to have a look, I can show you the LEDs also. Actually some of the equipments are better. Anyway, so I have this LED now. I am placing this one now on the camera view, and you can see now I have this LED over here. It's in green color, and one thing very important, as you can see over here, one of the legs is long, the other leg is short, as you can see over here. So what this means, the longer leg is the positive side. From here the current has to enter. You can see this is the LED, the green color one, and again the pin spacing is something like this, so I can place it anywhere, and this is on the breadboard. Okay, so the longer leg is the positive side from where the current has to enter. I hope everyone has an idea what is an LED and how it is. The same LED in some other form is inside this 7 segment, from which you can display any digit 0 to 9. Then after LED, I have a block connector. So let me show you what is a block connector. You can see this block connector. This is in green color at present over here, and this can be coming up in some other colors also. I'm going to show you in green and blue both, and they come in pair or in 3. So, or maybe even 4. You can see now I'm placing this one. Okay, sorry about it. Okay, I hope everyone can see this. This is that block connector over here, and this is that again block connector in some different color. This can come again, you can see over here, this is available in 2 pins. You can see this is 2 pins coming out, and certainly these block connectors, they are going to be used on a PCB, because on the breadboard you can just put the wires and they can connect with the power supply, and then it's wonderful work. But when you are going to design a PCB, all these equipments are going to be connected on the power rails. So you are going to connect, let me just connect this one over here. So you are going to connect this block connector on the power rails. Power rails means these vertical lines over here, so that the power can actually enter and go out from these wires over here. I'm just checking out the recording is being done. Actually, that's one issue. Anyway, coming on to, then I have some ICs over here. I have 74LS47 IC. This IC is the same IC which I have placed it on your breadboard at present. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 pin IC, and this is the same IC which I have placed over here on this one. Okay, what does it do, how it performs, how it's going to be seen in the data sheet, we will talk in detail in the next lecture. But just for now, this is our DIP packaging, dual inline packaging IC, And for the next experiment which you are going to do, you are either going to use 74LS47 or you are going to use ULN2803. This is another IC with again DIP packaging, but a little bit different nomenclature over here. And then the next things next, I have a solder wick. Now, what is a solder wick? Solder wick is just like a copper strip, and sometimes when you are going to have a soldering done, you have excessive copper on your PCB. So this solder wick, which is actually made up of some copper, it comes in different widths and length. You can use it and you can pick the extra solder. I will show you how this is going to be done at present, but just at present you will be requiring this solder wick in the lab. Please do not buy any equipment up till now. I will update this page for the lab equipments, and then afterwards you can buy this, because I'm going to have a little bit change in the experiments, plus since we are doing the PCB stuff first, so it's going to be a little different. Then I have this dip switch. This is very important dip switch. You can see practically, I think so, I don't have a dip switch at present with me, or maybe I can have it. Let me just check on my, okay, I still don't have it, I guess. Okay, maybe I have a dip switch. Let me just, yes, I have it. I have a dip switch, and it's a 4-pin dip switch. 4-pin, 2-pin. Anyway, this 4-pin or 2-pin dip switch, as you can see there are 4 positions on this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I go on the camera for you, and this is that dip switch, if I want to show you, and the dip switch, you can see this is that dip switch over here with me. And if I place it just upside down just for you, this is that dip switch. This is a little bit different shape from the top. I will try to show you in the next class, maybe if I find it out. It's a little different shape over there, but again it's the same pin configuration, just like the picture I am showing you at present. This picture you can see over here, this is 4 switches. So what does mean? If you are going to make this on, the first switch you are going to make it towards on side, this means that this pin and this pin, it's just going to work as a simple switch. Okay, but one thing very important, this switch cannot be used for any AC voltage, which means the voltage which is coming at your homes. It can only be used for some 5 volt, 3 volt, or maybe maximum 10 or 12 volt signals, not more than that, because it does not have that much insulation plus the current carrying capability. So this is very, very important over here. So this is a 4-bit again dip switch, because this can be placed again on the dip packaging on the breadboard. Please remember, anything that is going to be placed on the breadboard, it's going to be dip. This is very important. Then afterwards, again it's going to be a dip switch for 8-bit, just like extension of this 4-bit. It's going to have 8 switches. And then the last but very, very important, this is going to be our regulator. This is LM7805, and as the name suggests to you, this is going to be an LM7805. Now 78 is just a number, 05 suggests that this is going to be a regulator which is going to take some voltage input and give out an output voltage according to its rated voltage. For example, this one is LM7805. So this means you are going to get input supposedly from 7 to 12 volts, and on the output you are going to get a constant 5 volts. So this is a regulator. Okay, so this is a regulator, and if I want to show you one on again the camera also, so this is my regulator here in front of you. You can see this is the same regulator, LM7805. They also come in 7812, they also come in 7808. Certainly they will be having a voltage of 8 volts or 12 volts or whatever, and again you can place this one on this regulator. You can see the pin spacing is again 2.54 mm, so this is very easily placed. We will talk about how to see its data sheet and all that stuff over there, but just at present you can see all the equipments what we have seen, or whatever you are going to do in this lab, at least the first 3 or 4 labs, you have every equipment I have tried to show you on this camera over here. I hope you have a little bit idea now that what is a breadboard. I'm not asking for very complete detail. Maybe you will have to revisit this video again afterwards. But I have tried to give you what is a 7 segment, what is an LED, what is a dip packaging IC, and those ICs which can only be placed on this breadboard. I've told you about the block connector. This is the block connector over here. This is that 78M05. This is a regulator IC. You can take it as a power supply IC, which means that it's going to provide a constant voltage to your circuit. This is very important. Then I have a transistor over here. This is that transistor that is actually going to be running on and off, that you want to display 0, you want to display 1, you want to display 2, and then I have some male headers over here, and then I have some female headers, but female headers and male headers, they are most probably going to be used on the PCB design. So this is just a little bit hardware stuff which I tried to explain to you, so that you have an idea that the next lab I am going to make a simple PCB in front of you, and that PCB is going to be made of these equipments which I have just shown you. We will talk in much detail. I will tell you how a 7 segment is going to be interfaced. This is very important over here. Sorry about it. Actually, I have turned on the other camera. Anyway, so this is my electrical workshop equipments over here, and coming on to the class. Any questions, Ji? Ji beta, it's a DC regulator. For those who want to actually, I'm just seeing it again. Sorry about it. The questions. For those who want to actually see the connections again, for those again, I'm repeating all of these vertical lines, these lines where I'm pointing out this line, these all are connected together. So these are 2 parallel vertical lines over here, 2 here, 2 here. So these are 4 on this side and 4 on the other side. So these are power lines. You can use them as power lines. It's totally up to you. And in the center area, these are connected like this. So if this IC is connected over here like this, so you want to connect with this pin, so another hole just over here. So all the holes in line over here, they are connected with that pin now. So this is a breadboard on which you can place any IC or any equipment that is going to have a 2.54 mm distance between the legs or pins. Ji, any questions, beta? Let me just go on to it. Okay, the purpose of the block connector, beta, the purpose of the block connector, if I just go back on my video, very simple. On a PCB, you are going to have connect your PCB to the power supply, 5 volts, 12 volts, or whatever that case may be. So block connector, the screwdriver which has been given in your over here, this block connector is going to be used to place that wire inside it over here, so that this block connector is going to be providing the power, 5 volts, ground, or maybe 12 volts and ground to your circuit. Now, this is a very good question. Why we are using it? We can just solder the wire directly on the Vero board or maybe the PCB. The point is it, on a PCB, when you are going to solder a wire and then you are going to move that wire is hard. It's not a flexible wire. So when you are going to use that wire over there, that wire will be broken off very fastly. So to avoid that damage, you are going to use this block connector. Sorry. The block connectors are going to serve as an entry and exit point for the current. So when you want to power on the circuit, you take your screwdriver, open this screws over here, plug in the wire, connect it with the 5 volts of ground, power of the circuit runs, well and good. Again take off screwdriver, unscrew it, and the circuit is without any wires. So this actually gives you an advantage that you don't have to do soldering and again because the wires are going to be out. I will show you a practical example as well on maybe in the third lecture. I will show you that in a PCB, if you solder the wires, you are going to have a problem over here for some of the wires are broken off. Any other questions? Beta the material that is shown over here, I will give you the link. Don't worry, I am sharing this link over here on your screen now. Sir Bilal website which he has given, EEW. Beta PCB is a printed circuit board. For those who want to see what is a PCB, I'm going to show you a PCB now. Just wait. Okay. I hope the camera is still there. Okay, yes. Okay, I am taking this breadboard off now. Now this is a single-sided printed circuit board. I hope everyone can have a look on the camera. On the side of this one, you can see there is some names also written. This is some 2010 session. They were two students. They were working as a final year project with me. So this is their PCB. You can see this is the component side. This is the component side, and you can see the names of those components also. You can see a name given over here. This is TL072. There is an IC that is LM11 or 311, and these are some resistors over here. Then there are some capacitors which are in circular shape over here. Then these are some block connectors. These are out. So you can see on this side they are components, and on the other side these are the tracks on which you are having the wires connections over there, and these are holes available on this one. And these holes, when you are going to place the component from the other side, you are going to solder them over here. So this is a printed circuit board in one layer. This is single layer printed circuit board, and it is through hole. But what I mean by through hole means that the component is going to be placed on one side, which is this side over here, on which you can see the marking. This white color marking on this one is actually the silk screen printing. I'm again repeating, this is called as silk screen printing. This is a different process. I will show you that one, how this is going to be done for any PCBs that are going to be made. So silk screen printing is done on this side. So the PCB designer has designed it. He has given it to some manufacturer. The manufacturer also pasted this one on the upper side. This is the component side, and then you can solder it on the other side. So these holes which you are seeing are actually pads. These holes which you are seeing are pads on which you are going to have the soldering done. Okay? Over here. Now coming on to a double-sided. Now what is a double-sided one? A double-sided one, let me I hope so I can actually place this one on a piece of I'm short of some space over here. Anyway, okay, I hope everyone can have a look at this one. You can see this is a double-sided board. This is a double-sided board. Why it's a double-sided board? Because you can see the tracks on this side and you can see the tracks on this side also. So here the components are going to be on both sides. Okay? This actually, what is it? As you can see over here, I hope everyone can have a look on this one. This is a 7-segment display. You can see what is here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the same 7 segments, the same segments I showed you just now. This one, they are going to be placed on this one. There are some transistors over here, as you can see over here. There are some resistors over there. Then there is some IC over here, you can see. And then there is some male header. So this is actually a double-sided board to display some 4-digit voltmeter, current meter, anything. Any data that is going to be 4 digits and including the decimal point. How that decimal point is going to be used, we will talk that also in the next lecture. But just for now, just giving you an idea, this is a double-sided. So you have copper on both sides. You can see the copper here as well, and you can see the copper here as well. But here the silk printing has been done on this side. So this is actually the component side on which the components are going to be done, and you have this one also at back side. So this is a double-sided board. This is a single-sided PCB board over here, and you can have a 14-layer board also. Now, for you who have a question now, how a 14-layer board is going to be made? This means that it's going to have physically top layer and the bottom layer, but in between those layers, they are going to be the remaining 12 layers inside it. So if you want to connect from first layer to maybe the sixth layer and then the seventh layer and then the eighth layer, so all those layers are going to be stacked together in between those two layers physically, and very importantly, those layers are also going to be insulated from each other. Now this is actually the same art which we are trying to tell you or give you, or at least give you an idea in this lab how this is going to be done. And this is the same art of actually PCB designing your iPhone. I don't know how many of you are iPhone lovers. I am certainly not, but iPhone is actually a 11 layer PCB. iPhone is either iPhone, I guess I'm talking about iPhone 10 or iPhone 11. They are approximately 10 or 11 layer PCB. That's why it is so sleek, it's so slim, and it is having a very less weight also. So the PCB size is very small. The only shape, and every time whenever there's a new model coming up, not just iPhone, maybe it's from Samsung or some other manufacturer, they are always trying to make the size of the phone having less curves, less edges or bevel shaped or whatever. All this is possible because of the ergonomic design also, and secondly because of the small size of your PCB and components. This is very important. At present we are starting from these breadboard type components because you are just first year students, but when you are going to complete this, I am going to take you towards a component which is going to be in SMD shape also. And for example, I'm showing you a IC over here on this PCB. This is a small IC over here. I don't know how many of you can actually see this. Okay, now this is a small IC on shop over here. You can see this one. It's written 16-bit I2C ADC plus PGA. The IC name is actually ADS 1115. Now you can see the size of this IC. I'm not going to talk about the packaging at present because this will be a little hard in the first lab. So I'm going to keep it a little low, but for those who are enthusiastic, this is SOIC packaging. This IC is capable of having any analog to digital converter at a speed of 860 samples per second. So this is ADS 1115, and you can just imagine the spacing between these two pins. Now, for example, the spacing between this A3 and A2 is the same which you have used just now or seen, that is 2.54 mm. This spacing between these two legs of this IC is going to be just 0.3 mm or 0.5 mm. So be ready. As this course progresses, we will have soldering of such components also done, and meanwhile I will also share some projects from the last session. Some of the very good projects were made in session 2019. The soldering may not be that much very good, but the arrangement of the ICs and all that stuff, it was very good. I will just share that one also. Meanwhile, anyone has any questions, please write down over here. I'll just read down. No beta, you don't need to actually serial number आपको किसी चीज का याद नहीं रखना. No issues. Why LEDs glow on applying specifically? It's a PN junction beta. It's a PN junction, and a PN junction, whenever you are going to apply that forward voltage drop, what happens? The electrons, the holes or the electrons which are moving between that junction, when they go back on the other side, they release photons. Whenever those electrons are going to come from the valence shell to the normal, they are going to release photons are always released whenever those electrons which are revolving in the valence shell. When they go in the high state, they come back in the lower orbit, they are going to have the uh, photon released over there. I guess this is a little physics question. I'm not going to go more deep into this one. GG बिल्कुल बेटा, roll number 184 recording will be sent. I am recording this one over here. It is 1 GB plus, don't worry. Just for this lab, I have made a very good internet connection just few days back. So hopefully this is going to be in good way. For those who are still lagging behind on this one, the equipments I have shown and all that stuff, whatever, I'm sharing this lab equipments link as well. Don't buy this at present. I will update it. This is just for your information. Sir Bilal's link is also having that data on how you are going to do this experiment and all that stuff. Uh, Coming on to the next thing, before I go on towards, and in the last one I will show you those projects which were done in the last lab. I want to show you what software we are going to use it. Now this software, the installation procedure is going to be given in a PDF file. Sir Bilal is going to share that one also. This is called as LTM Designer Release 10. I have the release 10. You can use release 16 or you want to use release 19. It's totally up to you. I'm using release 10. It's almost the very same. Actually, I don't uninstall and install the software every time because I try to keep my Windows running for at least 2.5 years, because I have so much software on my laptop. I can't actually do a re-Windows or install Windows again and again. Anyway, coming to the software, this is the LTM Designer Release 10. The website download link is going to be given by Sir Bilal. Bilal, please share that download link in the conversation window. And
सर सर वो वेब पेज पे गिवन है और साथ ही उसकी इंस्टॉलेशन गाइड भी गिवन है.
okay.
eewlab.ms.
Okay. Oh, so you must have heard. Sir Bilal is saying everything is available on the website link. You can see this LTM Designer software with 6 GB RAM. It's taking a lot more of time even on my laptop. So this is available. The link, I guess, has been shared by Sir Bilal. I'm again repeating it. This is eewlab.ml. eewlab.ml is the course page. This is by Sir Bilal, headed by Sir Bilal. Anything that will be coming on from me, you will find it on Sir Bilal's page also, and also on ep.nge.com.pk. This is my education portal website. So sometimes if I am in a hurry and I want to give some data to students, I will be using this MS Teams also extensively, but ep.ng.com.pk, I'm going to share somewhat data. It's not a free software beta. You're not going to buy this. We have cracked version instructions in your installation. The link available is there. And to give you an idea, this is that software. I hope my screen is being shared in front of you. You can see this is a small zero crossing detector. This is a final year project going on at present with me. The students, they have designed this one. It's not very good design. It still has some flaws over here. But you can see over here on a black background, you can see some resistors. You can see some IC. Now, you can see some block connectors. I'm not going to go in the very detail of this, how this is going to be designed. We will do this in the next lecture. But at present, you can see this is ground. This is a block connector. This is the same shape as like this one. I'm just going to show this one. This is the same shape just like this, the block connector, this block connector, this one. This is the block connector, and this is the same shape just like this one. So this is a block connector, and you can see on a PCB, this is the ground. So one pin of that block connector is going to be ground. Other pin is, it's here written as R7. It can be the power or it can be ground or whatever. And then there is another block connector here for some other purpose. And then there is this maybe a resistor over here. And then these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then there is a diode as well. This is 1N4148. As you will progress, you will understand that the diodes name, they normally start with 1N4148, 1N4007, 1N4010. These are some very common diode names which we will tell you, and hopefully we will be talking about it in much detail. So this is a very small PCB. It's a single layer PCB. That's why it is shown in blue color at present. If it is going to be a 2-layer, let me show you a 2-layer PCB also. Okay. I hope this works. I have a lot amount of PCBs actually in my. Okay, you can see this is actually what is this PCB? Actually, yes, it has 6 relays. It's a 6 relays PCB, and this PCB size is not more than the size of my palm, not more than the size of my palm. And this PCB goes inside the switch plate. Actually, I have this switch plate over here in my lab, and this PCB goes inside it, and I can control my lights of my lab and my house remotely on the web or on the web interface. For those who may be interested, because you are electrical engineers, I'm just going to give you an idea what I mean by that. You can see I have the IP address over here, and I can control this is actually my lab name and all that. So you can see this is LED status off, LED status on off. So the circuit that is behind doing it and controlling it, this is the on off button and all that stuff. So this is that PCB which is being designed, and as you can see over here, this has blue color also, it has red color also, and it has some SMD components also. What is SMD? For those who have heard this name first of time, let me write it down. SMD stands for Surface Mount Devices. Surface Mount Devices. And if I go back on the camera again for you, and if I place this again one over there, this IC which I just showed you at present, this is a surface mount device. This IC which I just showed you over here, this one, this is a surface mount device. Why? Because every leg is mounted on the surface of the PCB. It's not going through the PCB. Just like this one, as you can see, this PCB, this is also one PCB, again shaped in yellow color. This is the masking color. This masking can be green, blue, yellow, whatever. I will show you how this is going to be done also, if we have time, certainly. So you can see these are soldered on the back side. But that one, that PCB which is placed on this one, it is soldered on the same one. So that's why it is called as a surface mount device, SMD. So this IC or this piece you have seen over there, so this is that PCB from the top layer side. So the top layer is the red color, the bottom layer you can see this is the blue color over here. So you can see this is a simple PCB, and it has some Wi-Fi IC on it over there. We'll talk in detail if anyone is interested. Maybe as a project I can ask someone to actually make this PCB also. So maybe as time progresses, we will have some PCBs like this also developed. Yes, one thing very important throughout this lab, you will be designing circuits. I will be giving you an understanding of the circuit, but very deep inroads in that circuit is not going to be possible because you are just first year students. So we are here trying to give you the skills to actually design these PCBs. But when you are going to learn all those ICs, what is an ADC, what is the purpose of an op amp, what is the purpose of all that stuff, and numerous courses are there in your electrical engineering throughout, so you will understand. But at that time, those teachers in those labs, they are not going to tell you that okay, how you are going to design a PCB. So that skill is going to be given over here by me and Sir Bilal. And the software which you are going to use, this is Altium, and I'm using this one Altium software over there. You can see this is again a cracked version, and I have this Altium 10, I guess this is Altium 10, platform 10.391. I don't know, Bilal has shared what link over here. So
सर 10 LTM 10 का ही है.
Altium 10 here. Okay. So this is Altium 10. Okay. Roll number 131. Don't worry. I am not going to keep you over here for very long. This lecture is being recorded, and I hope, yes, this is recorded over here still. So don't worry on that part. I am going to upload this lecture. Just ease yourself and go through this one in a very simple way. You can understand it. And for those who are actually over here, let me just share some of the projects from the last year. Let me just share some project images. Actually, these are some session 2018 project. I hope everyone can see it. You can see the soldering quality is not that good. You can see these are some SMD components over here. This is again another project, session 2008. You can see this is a workshop written over here by using LEDs over here. This is the other side. These are some bars over here in LEDs. So these are some session 2008. The one those who are in third year at present, session 2018 students, and these are some of the projects over there. For session 2019, which was done last one, if I can show you the projects over here. Actually, the project images are not here with me. Anyway, I will share those images with you also. Actually, they are somewhere else over here. Anyway, any questions, G? I will share those images. I have a very good images of that one. I will in fact make some website and I have upload those images for you for your understanding. So that any questions, beta? Don't worry, 138. Don't worry on this one. We are not going to go very fast on this one. I know it's a little hectic. So if anyone has any questions, my MS Teams messenger is open. You can ask me. I can make a small short video of maybe like 4 or 5 minutes also, make you understand anything. And I have been actually yesterday I was at Hafiz Center. I was trying to get HDMI to USB 3.0 converter. If any one of you has an idea where I can get that, because I have a HDMI camera with me and I can use it. It's actually an high definition camera, a camcorder actually, and I can use it. At present, I'm using this one over here with my mobile, and you can see the quality, and every time it's going on over there. The images quality is not that good over here also. In fact, it's still a Note 8, but anyway, I want to use a HDMI to USB 3.0 converter. If any one of you who is a gaming Greek over here, you must have an idea, because every time you have a PlayStation or something like that, you normally do that one for the storing of that in gaming over here. So if any one of you who is a very good gamer or something, and you are okay, All Road Market, thank you, Zafir, thank you for that. I will try. I will send someone. I will try to send someone. Any questions, beta? Any questions from there? Any question? Feel free to ask. Don't worry. Feel free to ask me anything, and Bilal, I guess can you share your screens now? I guess I'm making you for the safety instructions. Just go through those safety instructions in the very end, so they have an idea. Just give them those files. I guess they have those files. I'm going to make you the
सर फाइल
let me
वेब
make you
पेज
the
पे सर वेब पेज पे फाइल शेयर की हुई है सेफ्टी इंस्ट्रक्शन की.
okay.
तो वो ज्यादातर लैब रिलेटेड है कि जब लैब में वो आएंगे ना तो
okay. So anyway, you can go through those files.
Yes, sir.
These files are also available on the my web page also. And let me just go actually eewlab.ml.
yes.
Okay, so this is the web page. I hope everyone can see this web page, and the safety instructions as far as the lab is concerned, they're also there. Please go
सर
through them.
स्क्रीन शेयर
अच्छा, screen share नहीं.
सर
Sorry.
स्क्रीन शेयर
Okay. एक second, just wait. Okay, so this is the eewlab.ml by Sir Bilal, and you can see the safety instructions are there. The lab and electrical safety rules, the fire safety rules, the electrical shock of first aid guide, and then I have the introduction to lab, which is today. We have done it just now. There is no submission over here, and then hopefully we will start in the next lab. Maybe we will have one week over there. Now you are going to install your LTM. You are going to LTM software. This is the installation guide. This installation guide is very elaborative. I am just opening it in front of you. You can download it also, and every instruction is written. It's simple, whatever the size is there, whatever that shortcut keys, whatever, how you are going to do it, everything is written, how you are going to install it. So all installation are there, you can download it very easily and you can install it. Anyway, if anyone has any problem, I will ask Sir Bilal to have a session maybe on Sunday or maybe on Saturday, so that we can have, all students should have on next Wednesday LTM software installed on your laptops or your PC from wherever you are coming online. This is very important. Okay, so this is the first week work, which is very important. Installation instructions are there. It's a cracked version, so there is some installation instructions. You can go through that one very easily, and you have to install this LTM software, which I just shown you over here, and we can design a lot amount of PCBs. Maybe in the next one I will show you how. First of all, in the next lab we are going to use a 7 segment. I will show you how it works on a breadboard, and then maybe I can ask you, then we will design it on a PCB software LTM also. I will show you how libraries are used, how all of these bars are being shared over there. So we'll discuss in very much detail, and again I will try to make this a recording as well, so that those who are there, please make sure all your classmates, they are here for the class. At present I don't know how many students are here. I tried to actually, how many participants are there. I'm trying to, actually I'm trying to download the attendance list.
Yes.
Ji, any questions, Ji beta? I guess there is some questions in the conversation window. Okay. Okay. Sir Bilal can make a WhatsApp group. Actually, WhatsApp group are not famous for. Yes, okay. Bilal, I guess this is a good suggestion. Maybe you can become the admin there and you can share, so that
Yes.
whatever files.
Yes, sir,
But don't allow the students to actually share anything there, because then it becomes a mess
सर
over there.
सर इसका ये होगा कि वेब पेज पे जितना भी मटेरियल है ना वो हाईली स्ट्रक्चर्ड है, व्हाट्सएप पे जब सेंड करते हैं ना वो अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड हो जाता है, क्योंकि
हाँ,
अक्सर
बिल्कुल ऐसा
फाइलें
ही है. Yes,
अपडेट होती हैं.
exactly. Sir Bilal is
तो
very
वो
right
फिर
on this one.
उस
The website
yes.
has all the
सर
data.
उसके
Yes, certainly.
जैसे
just
वर्जन
like
कंट्रोल
last-
होते हैं.
just like last time, we will make
Yes.
a WhatsApp group. Bilal, just make a WhatsApp group. Add me also there, with all the CRs also there.
Yes, sir.
This is very important, so that we can
Yes,
have
sir.
a communication with the
Yes.
CR at least. And then the lab web page is very much enough, I guess. eewlab.ml. Sir Bilal has done wonderful work over here on this website. Plus my website is also there, so you can get a lot amount of data. You can see everything is retained over there. We will do some changes because of the pandemic and all this going on ODL, but otherwise every detail, whichever we are going to have it. The 8th pin of the IC, I guess there is a question from roll number 65. But it's not like this. 8th pin is grounded. Normally the ICs which you are going to use in this lab, they are based on TTL logic. Now this may be a new word for you, TTL logic. This is actually called as transistor logic. So this is going to be ground always over there. Bilal, can you just take over from here? Actually, I have one work over here at
Yes.
present. Okay, please just
Sir-
kindly take it over from here.
सर अटेंडेंस डाउनलोड सर
जी, attendance I'm just one. Any questions, ji beta? Any questions? Just write down in the conversation window.
ठीक